Hey everyone, Ryan here. Today we're going to talk about my latest crypto investment, which is Sandclock or the QUARTZ token, and pretty excited about this one. The app is going to be launching; their main product's going to be launching in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be going through exactly why I got into it, why I'm excited about it, and what I expect. If you could hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, that'd help me out a lot. I appreciate it. So let's get into it and talk about Sandclock and the QUARTZ token. So what we're looking at right now is the basic Sandclock website. Right now, there's not a lot of information there. It's kind of like a holding page while they launch the product in the next couple of weeks. So done a fair bit of digging into this one, and I'm going to give you the overview and talk about why I like it. So there are two main things that really stood out to me that I think are pretty hot narratives right now that made me want to jump into this, and will be the reason why I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one. So the first is Sandclock's main USP. Their main product is going to give you a very easy, simple way to earn high yields on stablecoins, and that's going to be higher yield. That's going to be out there on most of the other stablecoin apps, on Ethereum, on Terra, on all these other chains. Generally, like 15, upper end 20% is about the maximum you can get before you start using leverage, or before you have to start using kind of really new, untested protocols that are maybe difficult for newbies to use, or not something that an institution is going to come into, or something like that. So what Sandclock is going to allow you to do is get high yields on stablecoins. It's going to be between 30 to 60%, without having to do anything super tricky, super risky, or something that's going to be volatile with leverage or something like that. And they're actually targeting a really, really wide audience. And that is going to be, general kind of high-level crypto users who are, not extremely advanced and just want something simple. So it's going to be a really big focus on UX and ease of use, and also institutional DeFi. So they're going through all the processes to make this something that's very attractive for institutions and big money managers to come in and get really, really high yields on stable-coins. And that is something that makes me really excited, being able to go after both of those markets at once. Now, the second reason that I'm super interested in Sandclock is obviously they have their own, they have their ability to earn this yield on stable coins, and we'll go through how they're going to do that. They also have a token attached to it, which has a pretty cool design, which means that the more and more TVL gets locked up into the platform, the more people deposit, they're earning this yield. The way the tokenomics are designed, it should lead to a nice steady increase in the token price. So I can see a good connection between the QUARTZ token price and the TVL, meaning that when the TVL increases, the token price should, in theory, go up as well. So those two benefits in one platform were really, really appealing to me. That's why I got in. So now let's try and explain it and see how this works. I'm just going to jump into their pitch deck and go through a couple of things and explain this platform to you. So this is kind of their slide deck, which gives you an overview. If you go to their YouTube channel, which I'll link below, they actually talk through this and do like a whole 20-minute presentation on it, so you can look at that too. But basically, they're a new kind of yield optimizer. Okay, so if we look at a traditional yield optimizer, you put your money in, you earn some interest, and you don't really have much that you can do with it. You can either leave it there or you can take it out, and that's really it. Okay, so Sandclock is aiming to give you a lot more options and give you the ability to do all different kind of things with your yield automatically. That's kind of predetermined before you even get the yield, and that's also on yields that are much higher with other stablecoin protocols. Okay, so basically they're going to do something called yield redirection, which means as the yield comes in, you can kind of set automated rules for what you're going to do with it. Okay, so you can see here you earn $10 in yield over however long on your $10,000, and you might want to redirect it and send it something else. That might be buy Bitcoin, buy Olympus Pro, donate it to charity, which we'll come onto later. So you can do all kind of cool things with your yield, and this is going to open up a lot of opportunities. Okay. So this is kind of explain how they do it, and what the benefits of that might be. So the example they've got here is, say you have your capital invested in Sandclock, you get some yield, and you decide that you want to keep 90% of the yield for yourself, but then automatically donate 10% of it to a charity, in this case, the Red Cross, okay? That is gonna be very, very beneficial and very attractive for a lot of people. And this is just one example. You might donate it to another charity, you might use it to DCA into some other crypto project like Bitcoin, you might use it to buy some other tokens, you might use it to buy more Sandclock, or you might just keep compounding your yield to keep growing it month over month. The whole point is it's going to make it very, very easy to set up these rules around what happens with your yield. And they're even giving you the ability to load it onto a prepaid card, which you can use at stores and online and things like that. So, say you have 50K in stablecoins, it's earning you 30% a year. That's going to give you just over $15,000 a year in passive income. You could load that onto a prepaid card automatically that you can just spend and put your daily expenses on it, your coffees or whatever. So I think that is pretty damn cool and something that is very, very unique that I haven't seen in DeFi before. And going back to the charity side, if you do want to redirect some or all of your yield to charity, you actually get an NFT tax receipt so that you can get the tax benefits of the charity donation as well. So again, something that's pretty new and I thought was very, very cool and could have a very, very wide appeal, especially if we're getting companies and institutions coming in that want to do something with charity and showing that they're doing good in the world and things like that. So in terms of the technology, they're basically building this platform from the ground up. It's not a fork of anything. It's going to be cross chains. They're going to be on Terra. They're going to be on Matic. They're going to be on Ethereum and a bunch of other chains. And they're going to be able to look for the best yield opportunities across all of these chains. And whatever's the best at that time, they're going to use it to generate yield on the depositor's funds without the depositor having to do anything, which I think is pretty damn cool. And a lot of it at the start is going to be on Terra. It's going to be using Anchor and Mirror. They're going to try and generate high yield on Mirror, and then the fallback is going to be, if that yield is less than 25%, it's just going to go straight into Anchor. But the main goal is to actually outperform Anchor, which I think is pretty cool because Anchor already has huge double-digit billion TVL just with the 20% that they currently offer, and these guys are trying to outperform that. Okay, so I think that is really, really exciting, and we'll go into a little bit more about that in a second. Now, I said at the start that there was two reasons I like this protocol. One is you can earn high yield without having to do anything degen or leverage or complex for new or institutional users. And second was the value capture from the token. So I kind of said at the start that there's a clear path between the TBL in the platform going up and the token price going up. Okay, so we haven't talked about the token yet. So let's have a look at that now and what the relationship is like between the TBL and the token price. So the token is QUARTZ, okay? It's kind of been doing pretty well over the last couple of weeks. And there was some hype around the launch, which is coming up around the end of January. And it's basically been ranging between about the $14, $15 mark, all the way up to like the 20s. And it looks like it's in some kind of accumulation. When it gets up to the 20s, it kind of tends to range back down. So I've kind of just been buying all around here. I think my average price is somewhere like around 17. I mean, I bought some at 11 and 12. I bought some at 20. And we're, basically ranging around here for the last couple of weeks, leading up to the launch. So I'm not sure what's going to happen around the launch, but the prices where we are now, like the current range, this is like roughly where I've been buying in bits and pieces over the last couple of weeks. Okay, so if we have a look at how they try and explain the relationship between the token price and TVL, I want to talk about that because this is something that gets asked a lot in the community. So you can see this chart here, and basically it kind of shows their projections for what the token price might do at various levels of total deposits in the platform. So you can see, like, roughly, if there was to be about $500 million deposited in the platform, these guys, kind of estimate that would mean the token price is roughly around $250. Okay, and currently it's 2021, and then as it goes up, 1.5 billion is going to be over 500, and it just goes up and up on this curve that you can see here. Now, obviously, these are projections. Okay, this isn't guaranteed. This is them saying, based on our model, this is what we think could happen. And I want to explain how that actually works. Okay, so basically, all of the TVL that is earning interest in the Sandclock platform, they take a performance fee. I think it's like something like 20%, then goes into its own vault, and that's how the project actually generates revenue, taking a percentage of the work they do for you, farming your coins. Now, that revenue that the platform generates is then also put into its own vault that will also earn extra interest. Okay, and over time, only the people that own and stake QUARTZ will get access to this extra pool of what will eventually be millions of dollars earning interest. Okay, so they're taking all of their fees, they're then earning yield on their fees, and then they're distributing that yield back to the QUARTZ owners and stakers. Okay, so it will get to a point, if their plans come to fruition and if this goes how they think it will go, that the staking rewards for QUARTZ holders will just get better and better, meaning there's going to be more and more demand for the token, because people want the better staking rewards, so they buy more tokens to get more of the share, so the token price goes up. That is a very high level view of how they think that it's going to go. Obviously, this is not programmed. This is just their estimates, and I can see how they got there. It does look like QUARTZ is actually going to be pretty responsive to the TVL as they state here. There's actually a really good Twitter thread explaining this, which I will go through in a minute. Now, right now, the market cap is around $65 million, I think, which is pretty low. I consider that a low cap. That's with zero TVL right now. Okay. Now, if we kind of go back to what I said earlier, in that they're going to be using the Terra and the Luna ecosystem to generate a lot of this yield, Anchor right now tops out at 20% on stablecoins. Okay, so you can earn 20% on Anchor. They have over $10 billion. It might even be $11 billion in there by now. Okay, so $11 billion in Anchor, earning 20%. Well, these guys are aiming to generate at least 30, if not 40, 50, 60 on the upper end percent, using different strategies on the Terra blockchain with Mirror and things like that. Okay, so I can see a situation where, if Anchor can get $10 billion, there's no reason these guys, if the launch goes well, can't get a percentage of that. And remember, if we go back to this chart, they say, according to their calculations, that if they get just $500 million, so that's 5% of the Anchor TVL, they think the token is going to be somewhere around 250, okay, which is over a 10x from here. They get $1 billion, which is 10% of Terra TVL. They think the token price could approach, could be getting on the way to $500, $300, $400. Okay, so again, these are just projections, but I can see how they got there. And this has the feel of something that could potentially do that, with the team and the marketing and the narratives they've got going on, with the ease of use, easy onboarding, the charity side, the big targeting of institutions, which I'll come on to in a minute. I don't think it's going to be a huge stretch for them to get 500 million or $1 billion TVL after a while, if this thing does what they say it's going to do. Okay, so I wanted to scroll down to talk about some of the institutional stuff. So they've built this thing from the ground up to be appealing to institutions. Okay, so everybody knows that regulation, especially in the US and other a lot of European countries, the UK and things like that, there's a lot of regulation, a lot of kind of qualifications you need to be able to serve institutions and things like that. These guys have been working on this stuff from day one. So all of the licenses that they need to operate in the major countries to be able to offer this service to institutions. They've been doing that all along. Okay, so it should be a case where like pretty soon after launch, they're going to be able to target institutional money and get them on board with this. And obviously, the more money you have, if you could earn something like 30% on US dollars or whatever the stable coin might be, the bigger your budget, the bigger your investment, the more attractive that is going to be. Okay, so I'm pretty interested about that. They have a whole bunch of other plans, like outside of what I've said in this video about things that are going to be launching when the platform is live and up and running. But that is the core. That is the main USP. Okay, it's going to be an easy way to earn high yield on stable coins. It's going to be super simple to use for both newbie crypto investors and institutions that really need something that is fully regulated, insured, and goes through all of these compliance steps. Okay, so I think it has potential. I bought a fair amount of tokens, and I do just want to spend 1 second going through a quick Twitter thread about the relationship between the TVL and the token price and how that might work. This guy seems to be the best researcher in terms of publishing on Twitter right now, Dr. Krager, at Krager Research. So definitely go and follow him. He has put together a pretty good thread that explains basically this curve and why the token price would go up with the TVL if everything goes to plan. Okay, so I would read through this. Basically, what he's saying here in all of these steps is basically what I said just now. It will come to a point where all of the service fees that QUARTZ takes for its clients, both retail and institutional, that money will get invested, and then the yield from that money will only go to people that purchase and stake or lock up the QUARTZ token. Okay, and that is basically going to be what drives the token price with the increasing yield that comes from earning APY on a larger and larger sum of money from their treasury. So that is basically how it works. That is why I'm interested. I'm in a Discord. Seems like a pretty good community. The team is fully doxed. Market cap is pretty low. There's not there aren't any like crazy VC allocations or anything like that. With huge unlocks coming up, they just did a pre-sale, but it's nothing too crazy. I think the tokenomics are going to be pretty solid. So if you have any questions, let me know. Throw them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them. If you are in Sandclock, let me know. If you're looking to get into it, also let me know. And yeah, pretty excited to see this launch around the end of January. I think it's the last week of January they're targeting. So that is Sandclock and QUARTZ. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.